Thank you, Amos, for being here, and thank you for taking your time to come and have a discussion with us.
Nice to be hosted by you.
Can you tell us about yourself and your journey as a refugee?
It was just, I think the month was April or June, I don't remember very well, in 1996. Very in the morning at our home, and then we heard that war is about to happen. Little did we know that's going to be something very chaotic. We spent 2 years moving within Congo looking for peace, but all in vain.
Yes.
In 1998, we became refugees in Uganda. We were taken all the way from Kisoro district to Hoima district formerly by then, because now it is Chikube district, where we stayed for more than 20 years. From when I reached in the refugee camp, I knew maybe it's 1 week or a few days, then we go back to our homes. But it turned to be into 20 years that I spent in the refugee camp in Kyangwali.
Yeah.
Of course, many things happening there, starving, many people dying because of diseases, lack of food. Myself, I lost my own sister because of, should I say, discrimination, when my dad was queuing for free medication, pleading so that she can get treatment, but because we are refugees and the hospital was shared by many other people, she died in the hands of my dad. That was one of my worst moments. To see my dad crying, someone I could run to and just get some comfort from him, but even him, he didn't have anyone to comfort him. So that's some of the life I passed through, and this pushed myself, joining our elder brothers, to start an organization called CIYOTA, to ensure we look for the solutions that refugees face, like the ones we are facing. And we thought education would be the key for us to solve such problems. Luckily now, 19 years down the road, we have many scholars who've gone to different schools. Some, like myself, I went to USIU, or United States International University, Africa in Nairobi, under Mastercard Foundation scholarship. And then went also to Sciences Po in Paris, where I did my master's in human rights and humanitarian action. But all of us have come back, most of us have come back, making sure CIYOTA thrives, making sure quality education is provided to refugee students. And many other fellows who graduated are now doing big and amazing work, either in the host communities or in the countries where they came from, others in the refugee camp. That's all that I can say about myself.
It's quite a very huge CV you have there. Very big. I mean, being in the refugee camp for 19 years, you said, or 20
years.
20 years. What does this make you feel as a refugee? What is the, like, when you feel about this, being in such a situation for these years, what does it make you feel?
First of all, for the beginning, when you reached in the refugee camp, like I said, I thought it would be for a very short period, but later on it turned to be into all those years. To some point, makes me feel like I'm not a full human being for the beginning, because remember the story of my sister going to hospital queuing for medication, and then no one cares. But later on, after us refugees took charge of our own lives, everything changed. Now I really don't mind about that status, like a refugee, because I know as a human being, I have the capabilities. I have all it takes for me to do anything like any other person. A refugee, it's just a name. It's a status given to someone. But the brain, it's the same, very active. You can do whatever you can do, I can do. So that one no longer has any big impact on me, because I've discovered and I've known that just the status doesn't change anything towards me.
No, I think that's a very different way of looking at it, because always you're in this setup where you are discriminated based on your status, you know, lacking certain services or not being able to access certain services because of your status. I think moving beyond that, that's a big thing. But I think it's one thing to try and avoid that status, but it's the other thing about how the system is in terms of what you're able to access and what you're not able to access.
I agree with you.
Now, being there for 20 years, what are some of the other challenges you saw? Maybe you talked about you seeing your sister dying on your father's hands. What are other challenges so for education and job access?
One of the biggest challenges is mobility of the refugee people who are seeking, let's say, opportunities like education opportunities or jobs and so on.
Yeah.
For instance, when we are coming for this AFD conference,
Yes.
the African Forum on Displacement,
Yeah.
we were with many other fellow refugees. Some of us have East African passports because we have a mix of refugees and non-refugees. And those who had the travel document, when we reached at the border, they stopped. Of course, anyone with a passport, stamp, go. But these people with the refugee travel documents were stopped, pushed to go in the other room behind, and then we were interrogated for I don't know how many hours, more than an hour and 40 minutes. Then one of the colleagues went to ask, why are they here? Then they said, this document is not allowed to just move just like that.
Yeah.
But this is a document given by the government. And then the same government is questioning the document. You know what was the story? Give $250 and then you go. Or else, the road that brought you, you know it, just go back.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest challenge. And I also have a story of one of our colleague when he was attending a conference in Zimbabwe. And at Harare International Airport, he was kicked back because of having the travel document. He was not allowed to go into that conference.
Yeah.
Now imagine the story he was to share and to let the people know about the work we do, and or maybe to attract donors or maybe to attract people that we can partner with. But that one was turned into vain because of the document. So movement, like the document, it's still a very big issue.
Very big.
Even now we're still facing that one.
Yeah, I hear you. And you talked about this idea of, being in this. I mean, I'm trying to still stay in this piece of the fact that people struggle for a long time in the refugee camps. And that makes you to have stigma, You feel like you're not able. And you talked about now refugees, when refugees started taking themselves and just being part of the solution, magic happened. Can you tell us about this magic, like when you saw things actually starting to work?
Very true. I'll give some examples. At CIYOTA, when we started the organization, we were many youth. But some of them, so far, some of us, I see great change happening because of, again, of taking charge of our own lives.
Yeah.
And to try to solve our problems. For instance, one of the students, he was a senior 6 graduate. He said, look, I see the refugee camp has so many people. By then, we were more than 120,000 people in Kyangwali refugee camp. And its schools were only the Kuburas Primary School and then the 2 other government schools. So those are 3 schools only in a very big camp.
Yeah.
I was like, no. Let me go set a school that far end of the camp. And then I build it. Maybe these were still young kids who couldn't afford to go to all that far end. They can study from here when they grow. Then they can join those other schools.
Yeah.
That school now, it is educating more than 435 students a year. So that is taking charge of own lives.
Yeah.
Now they're employing people. They have 20 teachers, and they provide meals, breakfast and lunch at school. Of course, parents also do contribute, but these are some of the stories which are bringing hope to me. And I believe if refugees can be trusted and be given a chance, I believe they can change a lot. Actually, to information, what I've seen, all investors and the people who are into this sector of supporting organizations, I would advocate to go straight to people who are putting their hands on, those who are doing the real work, like the refugee-led organizations, because they're solving the real problem on a daily basis. They see those who are traumatized. They're the ones touching their hearts. They're the ones bringing the real change. The support, if it goes straight to them, everything will change.
Yeah, direct investment into refugee-led organizations. Yes. And I mean, COVID-19 told us this, that it's actually possible. The invisible RLOs, refugee-led organizations, they've been doing this work.
Definitely.
You're talking about trust. So like, how do we trust them to actually do the work? And I think that's the message we need to even further push. And you're talking about direct funding, right? Direct support to the communities. I wonder if there's anything different that needs to be happening in terms of the thinking about recognizing the work of RLOs and the work that CIYOTA and many other RLOs do.
So before I come to that one, I think there is a setup or maybe the systems that should change. I give you an example. Now, look, you're in the refugee camp. Every day you wake up, someone is calling you, oh, my kid, they can't go to school, I can't afford, or maybe violence against, maybe gender-based violence within the home. Like, it's too chaotic. It's too traumatizing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Someone serving in this refugee-led organization, they're solving always emergencies, if I can say, and facing all these challenges. The happiness of someone working in the refugee-led organization is to see these challenges being solved.
Yeah.
Now here there is a donor. Somewhere they have a very long list of due diligence, which is perfectly okay. Those due diligence, they should be respected because it builds trust between the person implementing and the one giving the money.
Yeah.
But what the funders forget is one. These refugee-led organizations are in emergencies, every day running up and down to ensure these people get the services they deserve.
Yeah.
Now, when you come and you want to give the funding, you say, you have this stick, this stick, this stick. No, Ale, I can't give you the funding. It becomes so traumatizing.
Yeah.
I think the funders or those who are willing to support refugees or displaced people, please be lenient.
Yeah.
During the conference, someone said that there is a way we can even use the community-based matrix, or maybe you come in place and you see what is happening, and be lenient. These are people who are trying to solve the real problems.
Yeah. And then there's
the due diligence, yes, will come, but it will be very important if the funders walk through with the refugees to ensure they build the systems and the structure systems like financial systems, the management systems, and then the structures like leadership structures and so on, but together with these people who are giving the funding.
Yeah.
Not to leave them alone, and if you don't have this, then they drop you there.
Yeah.
Then who do you give the money? The other one who will cut some very big percentage, and then they come to this ILO with almost maybe 1% of the entire funding. It is a good work, yes, but not the best.
Yeah.
And not the best approach.
No, I hear you. I hear you completely. I mean, I've been in the space of localization for a bit now, and that is the thing that we keep on grappling with, the very rigid and bureaucratic processes for access to funding for RLOs. But I think the other piece that comes with that is really then, so we're talking about restructuring that system, restructuring that process. What do you tell, and what would be your answer to anyone or a donor who is somewhere there and they're feeling like, fine, okay, we make things easier for you, so we don't have to go through the due diligence, but we feel it might be risky, we might lose money. What would you tell these people? Is it like something based on facts, or is it something that just people are doing? So for anyone who thinks it's risky to fund RLOs, to fund refugee businesses, what would you tell them?
First of all, that will be a mismatch, and that will be a misunderstanding. I give you a story. Remember when we reached in the camp, facing all those challenges, we didn't start because we are targeting funding. We started because we wanted to solve our own problems. Yeah. For a donor, maybe this is a heart of giving and supporting the work, but to us, this is the survival. We are fighting for our own lives. And there's nothing in between. Yeah. It's either we do it or we do it, nothing else.
Yes.
Now, if you feel like you can't trust us to solve our own problems, then maybe they also have their own ways of solving those problems. But the only way to trust us. Yeah. We started the Kuburas, by then it was Kuburas Primary School, but now it is CIYOTA Primary School, and we have also a secondary school educating more than 700 students every year. Yeah. For our primary school, we have 1,011 students. Every year we have 129 employees working. Some of them are Ugandans, others are Congolese refugees and Sudanese and many others. But when we started all this, it was not because we were targeting the funding. Yeah. If you can't trust where we moved from to where we are, and then you only come with a box that you have to tick and say, here you can get the funding, then maybe it can't work. Yeah. What I could suggest is for the funders to come on ground, see what is told on websites, social media, and other places versus what is happening, and look for what is just available. and then build the systems together with the refugee-led organizations.
Yeah, together.
Move together
Yeah.
for refugees, by refugees to benefit refugees.
Yeah. So it's all about with. So it's nothing
Yes.
for us without us.
It's with.
With. Okay.
Yeah.
Certainly. I mean, very passionately on that, really. So what you're saying is that the donors have to trust their RLOs. They need to come on the ground. They need to
That's
walk
the way.
with them. Is there a role that you see in terms of there's a humanitarian kind of reset somehow with a shortage of funding, with the limited funding? How do you see RLO work or the community-based organization work being elevated, especially around issues that most refugees are more concerned about? Every refugee is concerned about their survival, but more than that, they're concerned about their thriving. So how do we get refugees to have jobs? How do we get refugees to have the proper education? And this is a question of building an inclusive system. So we know there are policies that are working, the policies that are not working. What would be the role of local organization in terms of that policy space with regard to creating an inclusive environment for refugees to access jobs and education?
Again, I think it's more of involving and working all together.
Yeah.
That will solve many things. Because if we need to see sustainability in the activities we are doing, plus you brought in the issue of funding being cut. We saw the other day, I guessed, I was talking to one of my friends and I said that maybe a day prior to US aid being cut, I'm guessing somewhere, maybe in Nairobi or anywhere in the world, there were organizations sitting, planning how they want to execute their activities, doing this and that, going here and there, and then the following day before they even fly to go do whatever they wanted to do, announcement, US aid cut. So it was so chaotic.
Yeah.
And this is going to affect almost many organizations. Now, the smooth move I'm seeing which is going to help and to ensure what refugees and other displaced people are doing, or humanitarian in general are doing, is to think of sustainability in all the activities we do. Yeah. And sustainability cannot come when RLOs are working alone, or when the private sectors are working alone, or when one thinks that I can think, oh, that's a problem, and this is the template to solve those problems, so go do it. It cannot work. It's when we all come together at the table, sit, discuss, and look at possibilities, ways of solving the issues, but with sustainability in mind. For instance, if we're in the education sector, don't think of having kids from home, bring them, give them template, temporary schools. Maybe think of how to have permanent schools, where either the funding is there or not, there's at least a structure, a building where the student can go and learn. And then maybe we look at other activities that can be done to ensure it sustains the school. For instance, at CIYOTA, what we do, parents give a very small contribution, like food contribution. And then CIYOTA, because we have the structure, we have the schools, then parents bring food for kids to eat. And then we also have teachers who are very well trained. Those who can afford to pay something small, they pay. At least our primary school is almost at 90% sustainable. The 10% is one we look for here and there. But we are trying also to go beyond. And we have managed to build a center where organizations go to do their conferences, and whatever they contribute, it goes to pay the teachers. Now that's the sustainability we are talking about. That way, it can work.
Correct. Yeah, so sustainability, that's a big word there. Correct. So maybe 3 last questions. One of it is relating to your experience as a Mastercard Foundation scholar. Can you tell us about that experience and what has it been for you?
A very big one. And thanks to the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program. Like I said, when I was at USIU, United States International University, Africa, university I like most, when I was about to graduate, but before then even, I was about to drop out of school actually, because of different challenges. Someone who came from Congo, my English was, and when I reached that school, USIU, the curriculum is it moves quickly.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a very big challenge, but because of the Mastercard Foundation scholars community and the leaders, Madame Lynette Aguko, I don't know if she will see this one.
Yeah.
They gave me advice and I maintained, and actually I graduated with a very good grade, which moved me to the master's program, still under Mastercard Foundation scholarship.
Yeah.
So the beauty of Mastercard Foundation scholarship, unlike maybe other scholarship programs, it goes beyond providing academic support. It goes into holistic support, be it academically, be it leadership, be it entrepreneurship, and even social life. For instance, after finishing my studies at the USIU, I sat with my other friends, 2 of them, and we thought of providing a solution to our people back home in the DRC. We have fruits and many other ingredients like the ginger and others which are not used, put to use the maximum.
Yeah.
And that is how we started a company that is now making a soft drink. And we are about to introduce the second one, Kivu Kick, an energy drink, very soon. And with other friends, we are now selling our product to more than 500 customers in Congo. And we have managed to have direct and indirect jobs created, 201 working with us. And all this, it is because I got the chance to go to the Mastercard Foundation scholarship program, learning about leadership, entrepreneurship, how to solve our own problems, how to be very innovative. Like, it pushes you to think hard. And now see, it is bringing magic. Very soon, we are hoping to have about 100,000 employees or people gaining jobs through this juice movement.
You say 100,000?
100,000. Wow. By 2035, we shall be having, because we have 201 already now. And
this is with
Kivu Society Corporation.
Okay.
And we are reaching customers more than 500,000 that we're reaching at. Now, once we introduce this one, very soon I'll be in China bringing our machines to make the drinks. And when it becomes automatic, we shall be selling to many people. And of course, we shall need more labor. People into the distribution, those doing marketing, those doing mixing. A lot of work will be going on. So that's the power of Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program.
Congrats.
It is very, it's, I don't know how I can describe it, but if you get a chance to go into the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program, you have it all, the network, the people, and the skills you gain from there.
I think we all need to get into that program.
Please,
What gives you joy with the work that you do?
3 things. And I've said this one, and I will never apologize to say that. 3 things. Whatever I do, if it has refugees or IDPs, I do it with joy. And by having refugees or IDPs, they must be gaining something very tangible, either socially or financially. I'm not a fan of social media posting. I've done this, You'll never see me posting a lot of things. But when you come on the ground, you see the people working with, then I like when the stories are telling its own. You see, then the story tells you all that we do. So that's the second one. I said IDPs and refugees, but also secondly, to benefit something tangible, socially or financially. If these 2 are there, then whatever, it's not good to keep giving and receiving nothing. I have to make a living out of it. For instance, for the Kivu Society Corporation I'm working with, in the 201 employment created, 90% are IDPs. They're all earning a dignified living. Maybe when you get a chance to go to Kivu, you will see it. They're earning a living. But also when we sell, we also earn. We make, actually I could say we make a good profit. It's not bragging, that's the truth. So whatever I do, all these 3 components, it must earn me a living and the people that I'm working with a living. It must have refugees or IDPs. I've struggled in the refugee camp. I've lived this life. I know what it means. I remember when my mom was moving up and down on each and every door, seeking for someone to give her food for us to eat. Whenever I say refugee or an IDP, seeking for a job, it's a must. They get it. Once they come to join our team, of course we can't have everyone on the team, but once they come, then we train them as they are working and earning something small. it gives me hope and it gives me joy to the maximum.
No, that's amazing. Creators of jobs, and excellently, you're doing amazing stuff. Refugees on the table. Refugees part of that process and part of what you're doing. And that social and financial gain, I think, is important. We're going to be on the last question, which is, what is your hope for the future?
The future is very bright. Seeing the entire, let's say from the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, the scholars we have, the brilliant ideas, looking into the Amahoro Fellowship, the people we are together, the ones presenting today, those who are into manufacturing, those who are into ecosystem, people doing a lot of amazing things, youth with energy, with determination, with eager and zeal to keep going, it gives me a very big hope. And Africa, I don't think I'm lying myself if I say that Africa is going to be the next one taking this world to the next level.
Yeah.
We have the youth, we have the land, we have the natural resources, and the most of it all, we have the willingness.
Yeah.
So that one gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah.
And I see a lot going to change.
I mean, I'm not going to add anything really. That's perfect. I mean, Africa, we are the future. Actually, not tomorrow, today. Yeah. If you were to give yourself, your younger self, advice, what would it be?
The advice would be not to lose hope. I remember the day when I was in Kyangwali, after we lost the sister who followed me, that's the day I felt like it's over. Because the one I was to go to also didn't have who to go to.
Yeah.
But later on, I came to realize it's okay to feel bad. It's okay to feel depressed, but never, ever lose hope.
Yeah.
You'll never know what tomorrow holds. If I was to cling on what I felt then and then be desperate and just give up, then I don't know where I could be now.
Yeah.
Never think of giving up. Never lose hope. Today it is hard. Tomorrow may be harder. Tomorrow but one, it may be a shiny day.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
not to lose hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Amos Kwizera, thank you very much. It has been great speaking to you.
Yeah.
Asante.
Nice meeting you as well.
Asante.
And thanks to the guys behind the camera.